Hello Canada, welcome back to another edition of the Canadian Citizen Journal. I'm your host, alias the Guy. Well, we've got a pile of stuff here today kind of going on. Chaos all across Canada, from convicts let out that shouldn't have been let out, people being tasered, brandishing knives, broad daylight arson attacks on RCMP stations. And then we've got, Trump's new tax it's gonna really hurt this whole new beautiful bill that has passed by one vote in the House, and it has to go to the Senate here. It's gonna do a lot of damage, especially to anybody who deals in any third party or even investments through America where you don't live there. Canada's gonna get hit hardcore by this. We're gonna dabble on that. We're gonna also talk, Trump did a more executive orders here today. I want to kind of go through them because this is crucial to something that I've been reporting on. Nobody else has really mentioned this. And it's going to directly, from all of what I've read, this push on energy in the States, he is now concentrated on shutting down Ontario's power supply to America. And this is what he just signed off today, bad for Ontario, but this could be very good for Saskatchewan. We're also going to talk about, we're going to take a little clip out of the new minister from Mark Carney here, who's supposed to be fast-tracking pipelines, which is all bullcrap. And then a few little things, and I'm going to finish it off with a pretty cool video of what you would think is a wildcat in trouble when actually it's not. Let's start off with the first really good news, which is the Conservative Jonathan Rowe has won the Terra Nova and the Peninsulas with the recount, and this was very, very tight. So, Conservative candidate Jonathan Rowe has defeated Liberal Anthony Germain by 12 votes in the Newfoundland district of Terra Nova in the Peninsulas following the judicial recount. Rowe initially lost his seat in the election night to Germain by 12 votes, but has now won the seat by a total of 19,605 seats to 19,593 seats, according to Elections Canada. We have a small little clip here we will go over.
Joins me now with more. So what is the result in Terra Nova, the Peninsula? Andrew, we've got a flip. For a while now, it seemed, and on election night, it seemed as though the Liberals had won the riding of Terra Nova, the Peninsulas, but within the last half hour, the results came down from the recount, and Elections Canada has announced that Conservative Jonathan Rowe is the new MP in that riding. So constituents of that riding, meet your new MP, Jonathan Rowe. The interesting thing here is that on election day, Liberal candidate Anthony Germain won the riding by a total of 12 votes, which triggered the re-election because it falls within the threshold of needing a recount, because it was so close. And now, today, they have announced that Jonathan Rowe has actually beaten Anthony Germain by 12 votes. So 12 votes either way, but it looks as though the Conservatives are now running things in that riding. That, again, just coming down a short while ago. Now, this is a recount that was scheduled to only take about 2-3 days. Took close to 2 weeks, Andrew. There were several delays. There were a lot of seemingly spoiled ballots, or at least ballots that were rendered invalid. Those ballots, if you can make out who they're trying to vote for, if both parties agree to it, they can be counted in a recount. And so that had to be the case. There was over 1,000 of those. There was also delays in the town of Marystown, Newfoundland. There were water shutoff issues there, and that sort of delayed things for a little bit too. But as far as we know, the recount is done. Elections Canada confirms Jonathan Rowe is the new MP in the Newfoundland riding of Terra Nova, the Peninsulas. We got another result earlier this morning in the Ontario riding of Windsor-Tecumseh Lakeshore. That one just confirming the win that we already knew. Conservative Kathy Borelli has now been confirmed as the winner in that riding. The recount started Tuesday, wrapped up earlier today. New results show a slimmer win for Borelli, but still a win over Liberal incumbent Eric Kuzmierczuk. Borelli.
I've never in my life seen such close counts during an election. Really makes a person wonder what's going on with Elections Canada. So, good news anyways for the Conservatives. Good news for Canada. Not great news because obviously Carney still is in power, the same Liberal Party. But, you know, we'll just have to work with it and hopefully we can topple this government. I'm sure there'll be more corruption coming out. There always is. After all, it's the same corrupt government. Now, we got a ostrich update here. This is... this is absolutely crazy. I'm just going to play the video. Like I said, try and make sense of this.
We had an incident on the farm. It's being fully investigated right now as of last night. I don't know who leaked information or what happened here, but there's other people that are talking about it. I wanted to come on, obviously, and update you myself. You will always hear the truth and everything from me here at the farm. We will keep everybody posted. It's under investigation. We have had another bird shot last night. We've had a large drone flying over our property, and this is all under full investigation. So please stay with me. Please keep praying. Sorry. It was one of our biggest, beautiful... Okay, sorry. Anyway, it was just reconnecting. I'm out right now. This is an official statement from the farm. So just please keep following us for the accurate information. Do not listen to anybody else. You follow me, Katie Pisitny. Jim Kerr is here. He will be doing some information, letting information as well on this out as it unfolds. But we've had a drone flying over at about 1 to 2 in the morning last night, and we have one of our biggest beautiful roosters that has been shot. We're working with our CMP right now. We're doing all of the appropriate things. Just keep send prayers and love to the farm right now, and the most loving, healing white light over all of our ostriches that are beautiful and healthy and absolutely stunning. See, here's our little girl. Here's that girl over here right now, clucking, all happy in the sunshine.
Now, from going through, she's done 4 or 5 of these different little posts here, and Andrea is there with Rebel News. This is actually Rebel News as well. Gotta love Rebel News. If you don't follow them, definitely you should, because they're on the ball. This is one of, especially Western Canada. They're not a propaganda outlet. They lay the truth out. They don't care who it is. Now, from the sounds of it, this was a really big drone, and it had on it the ability to fire ammunition. And from what we've pieced together so far, just off of what she said and Rebel reporting on this, is that the bird was picked off from above. So this drone was able to de-life from above. This is scary, and this is also a no-fly zone because it's got birds, right? Most wildlife areas, anybody that has livestock, you don't want drones above it. This is how animals run into fences and you get major chaos, death, and carnage. So I'll keep you tuned in on this. This is just mind-boggling, and this is the second one now that they've lost. Now, moving on, telling you, Canada, what is going on?
Today is 22nd of May, 2000. We have police tape all around the police station. Someone tried to burn the police station down today in Fort Nelson. We have police guarding it. My name is Dwayne Fredlow. It is the 21st of May today. We are in Fort Nelson. All the police, there was smoke there, it was covered by fire trucks all around. They put the fire out. All the police vehicles parked next door in the Catholic Church, and now they're all back.
Now, reports are coming in that they have found the guy, arrested the guy, and they're going through the charges. Again, we'll see who it is, and I'll try to keep you posted on it if it ends up being something significant. But wow, Canada is just in sheer chaos. It gets to the point where you just wonder how. After 10 years of this government, how come everything is falling apart? Like, everything is falling apart.
No, I did not know they were fraudulent. I thought it was my bail got granted.
After a month on the run, a fugitive from the Fort Saskatchewan jail says she is turning herself in. So good morning to you at 7 o'clock here on Friday morning. We begin there. The woman says she will be going to police in Edmonton today. And the RCMP says she was mistakenly released based on fake documents. Nicole Lamp is tracking this story for us this morning. So, Nicole, what did this woman say about the fake documents?
Well, Kent, Mackenzie Dawn Hardy says at the time of her release, she had no idea that the documents were fake. And she says she found out a week later from her lawyer that police were looking for her.
They're searching for me because I was wrongfully released from Fort Saskatchewan by fraudulent paperwork, apparently. But I didn't break out of jail. I walked out legally. The court signed my release. No fake paperwork.
Mackenzie Dawn Hardy has been on the run from police for about a month and posting videos about it. The RCMP confirmed she was released from the Fort Saskatchewan Correctional Centre in April because of fraudulent reports that her charges were stayed. Alberta's Ministry of Public Safety says a person was released from custody after receiving documents that appeared to provide the proper authority to do so. Hardy was facing charges including stolen property, impaired driving, and fleeing police. She says she's been reluctant to turn herself in.
I'm scared of what's going to happen, and I was really mad. And then, well, it was stressful because I thought I was free. Like, I didn't know I was. Now I'm on the run because of this.
Now, the RCMP say they have no documentation confirming that there's been correspondence between Hardy and officers about turning herself in. In the meantime, the Ministry of Public Safety says that police are now investigating where these fake documents came from.
Yeah. Craziness.
Airdrie RCMP need help identifying some thieves caught on video. Early Tuesday morning, two people stole items from vehicles along Reunion Court, Woodside Drive, and Bayside. In this home security footage, the culprits pull up in a white Hyundai Accent with Ontario plates, which police say was stolen. They can be seen checking car doors and rifling through an SUV, taking several items. RCMP later tried to stop the getaway vehicle on Yankee Valley Boulevard, but the suspects got away.
Now, I'm showing you this one because these people supposedly have they've been on this crime spree for quite some time now. So if you do know, if you recognize them, make sure you call the RCMP. Let's end this stuff. This is just craziness. It's just no end. And then this is Toronto. Again, Canada. Walking around waving two machetes. And we have this as well. Again, this has been kind of going on all over the place. This one happened at on April 2nd near the corner of Metcalfe Street and Laurier. Now, take a look carefully at what they're wearing. So police seek help identifying the suspects in this downtown assault. Ottawa police are seeking public's help identifying up to 5 suspects who allegedly started verbally harassing an individual downtown on April 12th. Police said the incident occurred between 1 and 2 p.m. near the corner of Metcalfe Street and Laurier Avenue West. When a bystander intervened, police said members of the group then physically assaulted that individual. Now, listen carefully. You're going to love this. This tells you right off. I mean, Hamas is on the streets, right? The first suspect wore a face mask, dark clothing, gray shoes, black gloves, scarf, and a green baseball cap. The second suspect wore sunglasses, dark pants with an orange top, gray shoes, a scarf, and a green hat. The third suspect wore a face mask, dark pants, a blue and black jacket with a hood and dark shoes. The fourth suspect wore a face mask, black pants, a red jacket with a hoodie, a dark baseball cap, black gloves, and black shoes. The fifth suspect wore a face mask, dark clothing, a scarf, sunglasses, and brown shoes. We gotta make masks illegal. This is just, if your movement has so much bearing and is so important to humanity and it's such a great cause, why are you masking your face? Unbelievable. If anybody has any information, please contact the Ottawa Police. Now, this report came out. This is something anybody who's an environmentalist. Now, I'm an environmentalist. It's been 25, 30 years, actually 30 years, where we even started using like material to wrap our Christmas gifts in to stop the wasted paper. We were thinking about ways to cure the problem and then get other people involved in it, because now they have the material, and then when they get you your gift, they then use that same material and they wrap it and they send it back to you. These little wee things. So a conscientious, intellectual environmentalist who knew that natural gas could have really made a big difference on the planet, and not for CO2, but all of the other nasty contaminants that come out of burning, especially coal. This report comes out. Canada can save the planet by feverishly pumping natural gas, report says. Well, duh. First reading is a Canadian political newsletter curated by the National Post's own Tristan Hopper to get an early version, blah, 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 blah. A new report says that if Canada really wanted to save the climate, the most effective thing it could do would be to sell as much natural gas to Asia as humanly possible. The 46-page study, published on Thursday by the right-leaning Fraser Institute, right-leaning, right, is premised on the notion that Canadian natural gas exports could single-handedly reduce Asian dependence on coal. If Canada could double its LNG production, writes the authors, it would divert coal from Asian power plants to stop 630 million tons of greenhouse gases per year from entering the Earth's atmosphere. Now, I've done previous episodes on this where we could have not only removed our entire GHG emissions, but we could have reduced the global emissions by over 6% if we didn't have the Liberals in power the last 10 years. Their incompetence to try and push this carbon zealotism has actually created more harm than good. And it's going to take 30 years or more to gain that back. And now that we have re-elected the exact same party, that number will now go up. It'll probably be, if these guys end up staying in power for 4 years, it's a domino effect. If you're an accountant, you kind of know how to work these numbers. It'll be like 40, 45 years by the time we can get back the years lost. And I'm posting this because you had this goofball, this guy. Now, this is the new federal energy minister, Tim Hodgson, and he's addressing the Calgary Chamber of Commerce.
Today we find ourselves at a pivotal moment. Global economies and markets are volatile. President Trump's tariffs are disrupting trade, threatening Canadian jobs and industries, and rewriting the rules of the game.
Now, he starts off with the fear, hate, and division. Trump's tariffs, yes, are going to hurt a few jobs. But don't worry, because the Liberals were already en route to decimating those industries, especially the auto sector. Zero combustion engines, people, again, previous episodes. This is just more verbal diarrhea. This is complete lies. All of the prices that are going up right now are not caused by anything Trump has done. Zero tariffs on us as consumers. All of the tariffs that Carney put in are the ones that are affecting your grocery bills, your buying glasses, etc., etc. Again, previous episodes, I've talked about this over and over and over for months. Now, this guy, and I'm going to play a little bit further ahead, listen carefully to how he words this.
We are taking major steps to back that vision with action. First, we will identify and fast-track projects of national interest. These are the projects that matter to our economy, our environment, and our sovereignty. No more 5-year reviews. Decisions will come in 2 years for all projects.
2 years, far cry from the 6 months that the Conservative Party was ready to roll out. And by the way, the Conservative Party would have already had Parliament open and been working. The next day of the election, if they would have won, Pierre had already warned his ministers, you're not getting summer holidays. We're putting 100 days in straight in order to get Canada fixed. In the meantime, where's Carney? If the Trump issue and the economy was really that important to this party, why are they all on holidays? Why are they dancing around, inviting the king, spending all of this tax money on debt that we're almost bankrupt, and not a word? Media's not, all of a sudden the economy's not that bad. We got people starving, highest unemployment rate, highest food bank rate, highest suicide rate, everything's just, if the Trump issue was so bad, how come Carney dropped the counter tariffs? How come he, like I said, he's on holidays? Why is there nothing being done? Unbelievable. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, there are definitely hardcore Liberal voters. They don't care if a man in a little mustache who raised his hand up at 45 degrees was in. But for the most part, a lot of those people, they just don't know. They are brainwashed by the propaganda, by CBC, CTV, and all the rest of them. This is just an absolute, it's unbelievable. Now, this is Trump. He is fast-tracking. He's doing what Canada should be doing. But we're not, because we're held underwater by the liberal feet of the green zealotism.
Why don't you kick it off? Sure. My name's Joe Dominguez. I run Constellation Energy. We have about 25% of the nation's fleet. We're the largest publicly traded nuclear company in the world. We're in the middle of a merger with Calpine, and once completed, we will be the largest electric producing company in the world. About enough power to produce to cover all of Mexico, actually.
I didn't know that. When we talked, you were so modest. I can't believe it.
That's normally not said about me, Mr. President.
I'm very impressed. Go ahead. So you think it's got a great future?
Yeah, well, absolutely we do. And the big change here is not only the technology has come around, but we have some of the largest companies in the world, the hyperscalers, who need this energy for AI, who are now working with us to fund the development and construction of the next generation nuclear. Nuclear is a 24/7 resource. These data centers run 24/7. Some of them will cost $200-300 billion, and they want to run them all of the time. So we can't use intermittent resources. We need something that's always on, 24/7, and nothing does that better than nuclear. The problem in the industry has historically been regulatory delay. Mr. President, you know this because you're the best at building big things. Delay in regulations and permitting will absolutely kill you, because if you can't get the plant on, you can't get revenue, and the interest costs are horrible. We're wasting too much time on permitting, and we're answering silly questions, not the important ones. For example, let me give you an example. In 3 places in this country, we're trying to license new reactors at sites that already have reactors. Yet I have to spend $35 billion at each site just for the NRC to do an analysis that says this is a good place for nuclear. Well, guess what? We've been running nuclear in that community for 4 decades. Why are we even asking that question? I'd rather spend that $35 million, 3 times $105 million, perfecting the design, start building the foundation, and getting going. We need to do this for America.
Are we doing something about the regulatory in here?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes,
you are,
because
sir.
That's going to be a big factor.
Yes, sir. That issue I just described will be addressed in this EO, and many other issues that we don't have time with the president to cover.
But you say it's very, we've contemplated just about everything. Right?
Well, this, Mr. President, this Energy Dominance Council that you have created is something I haven't seen in 30 years. It brings together all the pieces of government in one place to expedite the process. Under Secretary Burgum's leadership, this has been an amazing, amazing thing. It used to be the case that I have to run to about 5 different places in Washington to get one answer.
That's good.
And now it's all together in one place. So all I know about Secretary Burgum and Secretary Wright is if we haven't gotten it right, we'll get it right shortly, and there'll be another order for you to sign. But thank you so much for your leadership.
Now, they are actually scrapping regulations left and right. They are actually doing it. In the meantime, Carney and the Liberals have not removed and will not remove Bill C-69. They will not. They're not interested. And they're supposed to be able to get this done in 2 years.
To make that happen, we're standing up a major federal projects office. It will be a single window for permits, bringing together what used to be scattered across departments. It's about making one project, one review, real.
Okay, Trump. This is what Trump's doing, except for the difference is Trump's actually doing it. What this man is saying, what Tim Hodgson is saying, is absolute crap. How are you going to do that when you still have Bill C-69 and all the rest of these crazy legislative bills that hamper, slow, and stop any resources from getting done? Now, the kicker is they don't want natural gas. They want to put their foot on Western Canada because they're all invested in pipelines and oil in third world countries. By holding our oil back, right? Think carefully. By holding our oil back, it holds the price of oil higher because the supply is less, and it makes their profits greater in these third world countries. In the meantime, Canadians suffer. Instead, they're going to build more dams. Previous episodes, I blew the lid off of the dams. This is science. Dams are not green energy. People have got to get that out of their heads. They've been brainwashed on it. Let's listen to some more.
Less red tape, more certainty, better outcomes. And we're doing this not just for speed, but for purpose, for Canada.
Sure you are.
Because Canadian energy is not just about domestic prosperity. It's a tool for global stability and transformation. It's high time we trade more with people who share our values, not just our borders. You know, government will work fast. Our new government will work. Our
new government, he keeps saying. What new government?
Fast with the provinces and territories, industry, and Indigenous people to diversify our trade and open and expand new markets for energy and natural resources. Every barrel of responsibly produced Canadian oil and every kilowatt of clean Canadian power can displace less clean, riskier energy elsewhere in the world. Our exports can help our allies break dependence on authoritarian regimes and help the world reduce emissions.
In the meantime, Parliament's still closed. We're waiting for the King, our supreme King. All hail the King. Bow to the superior bloodline. This is ridiculous. Canada's it's just so bad. This is a little bit further on in Trump's presser.
We have one more for you here, sir. This doesn't directly relate to nuclear energy, but it's on a similar subject. This executive order is entitled Restoring Gold Standard Science. One of the issues that we've had in recent decades is that government policy has been made on the back of junk science, scientific studies and findings that have included conflicts of interest or scientific misconduct. The purpose of this executive order is to recenter policymaking around gold standard science, scientific efforts that have followed appropriate scientific methods that don't include those sorts of conflicts of interest, and to ensure that when departments and agencies are relying on scientific studies to promulgate rules, to promulgate regulations, that the science that they're relying on is highly reliable and available to the public.
He did a very good job, didn't he? He did. How many people here could have done that? I don't know. I think a lot. Thanks. Good job, Will.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, this is a huge... Of course, nobody wants to talk about this. This is huge. What they have just done is they have just cut all of the purse strings from junk science. This whole carbon's bad, the truth is going to start to come out. Now, you ever notice that whenever these green zealots, Trudeau and all of his ministers, Guilbeault and them, when they get up and they say the world is burning and carbon's bad and this is climate change, and you never see a scientist? There have been scientists. There's 16,000 scientists that have got together, and they've all said in agreement the whole climate skepticism, scare, zealotism is fake. No media is picking it up because they're propaganda. There's over 500 and some that just got together. I'm going to have to double check my numbers on that. 400 and some, 500 and some that just got together that challenged the UN. And these are people who the UN 10 years ago took what a few of these lead scientists said and lied about what they actually reported on, and then said 99% of scientists agree. No. Those numbers are the exact opposite. 99% of scientists disagree that carbon is the major greenhouse gas affecting all of the world and we're all going to burn. This is going to open the United States up, and hopefully our government doesn't censor us before this evidence starts making it to the people who are educating our children, because they have been brainwashed. The second anybody says carbon is bad, walk away. They have no idea what they're talking about. You are carbon-based. Carbon is good. It's not bad. Now, there are other things that we should be worried about. Yes, obviously, we should be trying to filter out. We should be trying, and obviously, yes, I mean, electric is cleaner. If you can produce it cheaply and clean, then we can go forward with this. This whole green zealotism, this was designed because at the time, and this is years ago, and I saw this happening because I like I said, I'm an environmentalist. I believe in this, and I thought, well, this is great. As solar panels and stuff were coming out, I was figuring, man, if a person could produce these cheaply enough and environmentally friendly enough and make them recyclable, we could actually save people money by putting them on their homes. The second that these industries started building better solar panels, better windmills, all of a sudden the corporations saw, holy, they're going to take away our money. So they started setting in regulations and taking over companies. Thus, the birth of this whole carbon thing came in. This is why solar farms don't work. They work for a house, but they don't work to cover beautiful green fields in order to marry people to the grid. They're trying to make an income. The whole system is a scam. Now, moving a little wee bit further, he quotes one more thing that I wanted to bring forward. And again, this is important because the Trump scare.
Why impose tariffs that you know are hurting American businesses?
They're not hurting, they're helping because they're creating jobs in America. We're creating tremendous amounts of jobs in America like you've never seen. We're having investment in America. We're not getting ripped off by every country in the world. We've been ripped off by every country in the world. They're making their product, they sell it. They don't give our people the jobs. They make them with other countries' jobs. And we will have something that nobody will ever see again, I think. I think we have a potential to do numbers that we never envisioned in the wildest year. Look at what's happening. 10 to 12 trillion dollars in literally a couple of months It's nothing like that's ever happened. It's we're doing a very special thing. We want, if they're going to sell it here, generally speaking, not for all products. There's some products we don't want to make. And frankly, we're much better off getting them elsewhere. But for certain products, we want cars. We want to make cars. We don't want to have, and I like Canada very much, but we don't want to have Canada making our cars. We want to make our cars. Oh, it's a phone call. Do you mind? Hello? Okay, it's only a congressman.
So, he's after the cars. But he also knows that with the green wackos that we have running our country, that he's trying to secure it before these companies go anywhere else. He's bringing them back to the States. And after the complete ignorance of Ford, this has become a focal, like I said, he's going not only for the auto industry, but he is going to stop buying power from Canada, especially Ontario. He is PO'd at Ontario for threatening to cut off the power. And I tell you, I've been reading threads and following posts, and this is gonna happen. They're already trying to fast track up through New York, Michigan, and a few other states to get these small nuclear reactors online. They're gonna cut Canada off. So, well done, Dougie, you liberal shill. Now, this is huge. And I know a lot of people are reporting on it, and I'm glad, because it needs to get out. This is going to affect so many people. Trump's new bill builds a bigger tax burden for Canadian portfolios. The U.S. bill could override tax treaty and cost Canadian investors $81 billion over 7 years, warns the industry. So Canadian investors could face more than $81 billion in additional taxes over 7 years if the U.S. enacts a sweeping tax bill targeting Canada's digital services tax. This is the liberal tax. This goes along with the whole censorship and the news payouts and all the rest of the bull crap. You can thank your liberals for this. According to the Securities and Investment Management Association, as reported by the Globe and Mail, the One Big Beautiful Bill passed the U.S. House of Representatives by a single vote and includes Section 899, a provision designed to counter what the U.S. calls discriminatory or unfair taxes imposed by foreign nations. Among those is Canada's DST, introduced in 2024. The legislation still requires Senate approval and presidential sign-off, with the White House expecting U.S. President Donald Trump to sign it by July 4th. According to Ian Bragg, Vice President of the Research and Statistics of Securities and Investment Management Association, these measures would penalize ordinary Canadians saving for retirement, education, and other long-term goals and create unnecessary uncertainty in the market. Bragg stated that the draft legislation would cost Canadian investors more than $81 billion in added taxes, prompting calls for the issue to be raised at the highest level of Canada-U.S. trade dialogue. Where's Carney? Nowhere to be found. Where's Parliament? Still closed. Canada is so broken. The bill threatens to override the Canada-U.S. tax treaty. That has been in place since 1942, dramatically raising withholding tax rates for Canadian corporations and individuals earning U.S. income. Canadian corporations currently benefit from a 5% withholding tax on dividends from the U.S. subsidiaries. This would rise by 5% points each year under Section 899 until it reaches 50%, 20 points above the statutory U.S. rate. Canadian individuals who now face 15% withholding tax on U.S. securities would also see the rate rise to 50% if the provision is enacted. The proposed changes would reverse decades of cross-border tax coordination. Max Reed, a cross-border tax lawyer and principal at Polaris Tax Council, said in a client update that if passed, Section 899 would rupture the Canada-U.S. tax relationship in a manner similar to how Trump's tariffs disrupted bilateral trade. Reed added virtually all cross-border planning would be turned on its head. The bill would also revoke long-standing tax exemptions for government-related entities, meaning the Canadian Pension Plan Investment Board and First Nation communities could be required to pay U.S. taxes. Good job voting those liberals in again. Elbows up. Ron Nobrega, tax partner of Fasken Martineau, blah, 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 said the proposed tax changes would place Canadian multinational corporations in the U.S. at a disadvantage compared to both U.S.-based competitors and foreign companies not subject to retaliatory provisions. Nobrega noted, I would assume that at some point, given the fiscal impact on Canadian companies and their competitiveness in the U.S. marketplace, that Canada will have to move away from the digital services tax, the DST. We will have to repeal it. Kim Moody, founder of Moody Tax Law, also called for the DST to be reconsidered. He described the U.S. as creating a big fortress and said that Canada's decision to maintain the DST in this context was ridiculous. Now, again, I post everything in the description. I urge you to go through this. This is going to affect so many people. If you're dealing, like for myself, off YouTube, if you are deal with investments cross-border, if you are in cross-border real estate, like I said, this guy says the pension plans, $81 billion. This is going to hurt us so, like, just so bad. And everybody who saw when this DST was going through, and myself for one, I was trying to tell a lot of different people about what, like, we were gonna, not only was the tax not good on media, especially small media, independent media, because they were forcing people to, this all falls through with all these different legislations, right? They're all like little dominoes that all matched up together for them to pay CBC and CTV their share. It's absolutely ridiculous, as well as taking a certain percentage off because they're doing business in Canada. Like, man, Canada is just, because we can't build anything here. We don't have any, there's no facilities, and no company wants to come here to build data centers. Nobody wants to come. Google doesn't want to be here. Like, Meta don't want to be here. Nobody wants to be here because the taxes are insane and you can't get anything built. This is all because of the last 10 years. Elbows up, everybody. Head up your own butt, elbows up. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I post it here. You can actually go right to it. You can read all of the legislation. So, for my viewers, I post everything. All the information's down below. It's a lot of documentation. It's worth the read. If you have investments in the States, real estate, holdings, shares, whatever, you're going to want to read through this and find out how you're going to get bludgeoned because of the Liberal Party and their tax regime. They're spending so much money that we don't have. They're trying to tax every single thing they possibly can. This is a fascist government. Unbelievable. Now, I want to give you an update on the postal strike. Let's take a listen.
And as promised, joining me now in studio, Canada Post Vice President of Communications, John Hamilton. John, let's start there. First off, putting in the work and making it happen. You framed last night's meeting as being relatively minor. We're hearing from the union that they believe there actually were some substantial things discussed in this meeting. Are we seeing progress in your mind?
Well, I heard from Jim that the talks are planned this weekend, so hopefully we can get together. We've booked space. We're ready to hammer out a deal. We've put forward global offers that cover everything from increased wages to protecting things that are important to our employees, like pensions and benefits and job security, and also making changes for the future so we can grow our parcel business. So that's what we've been putting forward. Last night was not a response to that offer. They talked about two of the issues, of many of which are outstanding. It was a very informal meeting. It lasted less than half an hour. So, it was a discussion and we talked. But what we're saying is, look, we've put forward offers. If you have questions, if you're looking for clarifications, let's sit down face to face, eye to eye, and work through those, because that's the best way to get a deal and provide the security and the stability that employees and Canadians are looking for.
Why not do that during a 2-week truce? Why decline that offer from the union and put Canadians in a position where they are open to seeing their service disrupted?
Well, let's first understand what they put forward. They created a timeline by putting out a strike notice earlier this week that created a timeline that now they wanted to get out from under. So we understand it. That's their legal right to put that out. But we hadn't provided any notices. We hadn't made any changes. So, as far as we're concerned, that was the union's timeline that they created. So we understand that. But in reality, we've been talking for and negotiating for 2 years, hundreds of meetings, thousands of hours of discussions. Many of the things that are in our offers, we've been talking about for 2 years. So the time is now not for further delays, because we at Canada Post Every customer has looked at May 22nd and circled that date fearing instability, and that's what Cup W has helped deliver. We're still operating, but we're operating on fumes. We're down 50% since that notice went out. We're now down 50% of the parcels that we would normally deliver at this time of year. So we need to sit down and get a deal. Canadians are avoiding Canada Post. It's hurting the business. It's hurting our employees. Let's get the stability of a deal. And the only way we do that is sitting down face to face.
You're down now, and I understand that, but you've also been falling in the parcel business for quite some time. The market share is about half of what it was a few years ago. What is the plan to get back? What is the rapid plan to actually expand that market share, even if you do get some of the things you're asking for, like temporary workers or part-time workers on weekends and evenings?
Yeah, these are good part-time jobs with minimum number of hours and up to a maximum of 40.
I absolutely love how he blew the talking points that they're so used to saying, right? The temporary foreign workers. Propaganda, man. They say it so often, right? Those, if you repeat the same thing over and over and over again, people have a tendency to believe it, right? The propaganda. Like, the host busted himself just by memory.
They have benefits and things like that, and they're more flexible for people looking for that type of work.
But is that going to get you into a point where you can compete in the market again? That
allows us to provide the types of service that Canadians are looking for. So someone today ordering something online wants it delivered on the weekend. It's Friday, it should come Saturday. That's the expectation now. We can't provide that, and we need that flexibility also to be able to be flexible and adjust our operations based on how many parcels we have to deliver. Our system today in our delivery model was built to deliver a steady stream of mail Monday to Friday. We're doing our best with that today, but it worked for a while. We were number one in the parcel business, but all the new entrants came in after the pandemic. They provided a more convenient service, and that's when you saw our volumes start to decline. So we need to provide that service that Canadians are looking for and expect, and if we can do that, we're a Canadian company. We're run by Canadians. We are delivered by Canadians. We think that's a good thing, but right now we're on the sidelines and we're losing to the competition.
So how do you get quickly back there? Because you've pointed out we've been going at this for 2 years. There have been offers back and forth. The latest offer from the corporation isn't a substantial increase from your previous offer. It's still quite a distance from what the union is asking. Is that the kind of offer that is indicative of this urgent timeline that you're positioning?
Absolutely. It puts the changes in that we could implement very quickly in terms of trying to build our parcel business back. But also, the Industrial Inquiry Commission report just came out, and it confirmed what I think everybody thought, but probably it's worse than they thought, that we're in an existential crisis. So we are losing a lot of money. We are not competitive. We have rules and regulations that date back decades. We need to make a change, and it's not just about the collective agreement. We need to certainly bring some flexibility into that, but then we need to work with our partners in government to bring about changes to our regulatory structure, because as outdated as our delivery model is and a lot of our collective agreement provisions, our regulatory model is even dustier.
I've got about 20 seconds here. Does the mandate need to change that?
Absolutely. It needs to be modernized to reflect what Canadians want and need so that Canada Post can be vibrant and help build the national economy and be part of Team Canada.
John.
Now, and the same government is still in power that forced the EV mandates, the overspending, the waste of tax dollars, which has put these people in so much debt they are bankrupt. And then, like I've said previous episodes, you also have the union, who has been trying to milk this system. This could have if this was ran like a private business, we wouldn't be here. You would be getting your mail delivered and there wouldn't be these strikes. This is all bad management starting from the top down, which is the Liberal government. This is a crying shame this is happening. Unbelievable. Now, we're going to finish off today's episode with a very cool clip. Now, it's not necessarily graphic, but it's on the verge of graphic. But I just saw this and I thought, wow. Nature is amazing. Check this out. She is surrounded by wild boars. And she got her lunch, too. Nature. Nature is amazing. That's cruel but amazing. Like, unbelievable. That is wild. The power. The power. Craziness. Absolutely. Craziness. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I will try to keep you updated on a few of those things as they're rolling out, especially with Trump there. He's this, like I said, this bill that he just put through, bringing real science back. This is going to have this should start to really get Canada and the world back on track to real science. Real science. And I hope and pray that this real scientists start to get their foothold on media, so that, like I said, the teachers and universities who have been using this junk science can actually start teaching reality, and we can get back to normalcy. It is what it is. Let's see. Time will tell. And as for the DST, this digital service tax, it's got to go. This is going to crush so many people. So many people. You add that with the censorship bills coming in, and it's purposefully aimed to control media. This is horrible, and I'm as sad as it is, I'm glad Trump is doing this, because hopefully it forces the government into action, because this is going to affect, like I said, podcasters, myself, videocasters. Not me, I'm not big enough. That's why I always say like, share, and subscribe, please. But yeah, a lot of people, as well as investments and boomers, a lot of boomers who have their investments in America, either be it through like pensions or whatever, even housing, everything. You guys better get your elbows down and get your ears and eyes to real media and start paying attention, because CBC hasn't reported on this yet that I've seen. So yeah, this is scary times. Anyways, make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you have and are. Make sure you punch that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. I am still working in collaboration with YouTube and some other social media to try and set up this members portion. My free channel will still be here. I will still be doing this at least once, hopefully twice every day. I also have, I'm going to put a shout out again here as well. I've had a lot of people on some different social media telling me I should really get going on this Western news. And like I've said, I have actually secured the weather portion of it through different mapping and databases. Sports is not going to happen. I don't have enough subscribers to even think about affording to put any type of an NHL or NBA logo on. It's cost way too much money. It's a corporate business. It's not necessarily what it should be. Yeah, so if you are in Saskatchewan, Alberta, Eastern BC, Northern BC, and maybe even parts of Manitoba, and you've got a phone and you are around and politically interested, I would love for you to email me, and hopefully we can try to work together so we've got actual live reporters and we can get this channel to take off. But I'm going to need a lot of help doing it. So I'm putting the word out. You've been watching the Canadian Citizen Journal. I'm Alias Tagay. Stay informed.